Imagine that atmosphere. The world of the entertainment industry suddenly stopped for a moment. Social media notifications exploded. The word Jungkook again took the top spot across all platforms, not because of his new music, nor because of his viral live performance, but this time because of one thing that never occurred to him before: the most expensive offer that has come to him since his debut. The entertainment world, from Seoul to New York, is talking about it in unison. How much is it worth? From whom? And what's the answer? The three questions resonated everywhere, as if everyone was thirsty for one thing: Jungkook's decision. But, as always, the man, known for being mysterious and calm in the midst of a storm of popularity, did not give a quick answer. It keeps the world waiting, and behind his smile, which always seemed calm, there was a big story that shook the industry backstage. Behind the scenes, everything feels like a perfectly composed film. Negotiations take place in the glass halls of skyscrapers. Financial statements of global corporations are recalculated, and even the shares of some major brands are moving only because of rumors that Jungkook is being considered. All of this happened in 1 week. 1 week that made the world realize that Jungkook's value is not just in numbers, but in influence. Many thought that the offer would definitely be accepted. Who could refuse a figure that was even equivalent to the production cost of a Hollywood blockbuster? But that's exactly where the big surprise comes in. Behind seemingly simple decisions, there are principles, there is history, and there are views on life that so far have been little known to the public. The moment is not just a business transaction. It was a reflection of how Jungkook saw himself not as a product, but as a human being with direction and meaning. In a world where money is often considered the answer to everything, Jungkook shows the opposite. He turned the commercial offer into a global, reflective moment. So, let's dig deeper, tracing one layer after another of this story. From the beginning of a secret negotiation to the final decision that shook the world. Because this is the story of the most expensive offer in BTS Jungkook's entire career, but the response was unexpected. It all started with a leaked financial report, a rumor that emerged in the South Korean business community and then spread to the international media. The numbers are so large that analysts have questioned whether it's true or just an extreme marketing campaign. A global brand, whose identity has been disguised, is said to be offering endorsement contracts worth more than $150 million for just 3 years of exclusive cooperation, a value that overtakes the contracts of top-tier global ambassadors like Rihanna, Beyoncé, or even Lionel Messi in the realm of fashion. The brand knows one thing for sure: among all K-pop stars, only Jungkook is able to bridge Asia to America without losing identity. After the success of Calvin Klein's world-shaking campaign, it dawned on them. The Jungkook effect not only sells clothes, but also sells confidence, image, and Korean culture itself. But behind those fantastic numbers, there is a much more complex story. Proposals were drawn up for months. The company's creative team conducted research into international fan behavior, tracing how Jungkook's engagement on social media set a record that not even Hollywood celebrities could match. Each of his uploads generates millions of organic interactions, not bots, not the result of paid promotion, but rather an emotional response from a loyal, transcontinental fan base. They knew that if Jungkook signed this contract, the company's stock would jump instantly. But what they don't know, Jungkook doesn't judge everything by money. He sees the value of conformity, of the meaning behind cooperation. In several of his old interviews, Jungkook once said, "If I can't believe in what I represent, everything I do will feel empty." Those words turned out to be the foundation of all major decisions in his life. So, although the offer came with the promise of fabulous profits, Jungkook did not immediately agree to it. He studied every detail, every value behind the brand, and even questioned, will this cooperation allow him to remain himself? While many other stars may soon agree to such a big contract, Jungkook took a step back. He did not refuse, but he waited and was silent. Silence is what makes the whole world curious, and that's where Jungkook's real strength lies. He knows when to move and when to let the world speak. What the public doesn't know, that fantastic offer doesn't come from just one brand. There are 3 global companies competing secretly for Jungkook. First, an American fashion brand that is struggling to maintain relevance in the Asian market. Secondly, a European brand known for the concept of luxury minimalism. And third, South Korean brands that are ambitious to restore the prestige of local fashion in the eyes of the world. All 3 viewed Jungkook not just as the face of the promotion, but as a strategic pivot. That is, its presence is able to change the direction of their global marketing strategy, because whoever manages to secure Jungkook will automatically rule the Gen Z cross-country market. The competition was so hot that there were reports that one of the companies even sent a proposal containing clothing designs that were completely inspired by Jungkook's style in the 7-era dark jeans, leather jackets, and natural body silhouettes without exaggeration. Another proposal comes in the form of a short film that visually displays the future of the fashion world, with Jungkook at the center of the orbit as if he were the new axis in the fashion world's solar system. Rumors have also surfaced that some high-ranking executives are willing to sacrifice next year's campaign budget in order to add value to Jungkook's bid. However, a source close to the fashion industry said that Jungkook himself felt uncomfortable with the aggressive approach. He considers such offers too focused on commercial value, not creative value. In a closed-door meeting in Los Angeles, Jungkook reportedly told his team that he was more interested in projects that gave him space for expression rather than just projects that demanded financial results. That is why, although the figure of $150 million sounds tempting, Jungkook chose not to sign anything right away. He wants to make sure that his steps remain authentic. And in a business world full of pressure, decisions like these are a rare form of power. That day, the media waited. Journalists, economic analysts, even fashion influencers speculate today Jungkook will announce his choice. But when the announcement came, there were no numbers, no brand logos, no corporate drama. There was just one simple statement on her social media. I want to keep doing something I believe in. Money wasn't the reason I started it all. That sentence, in just 10 minutes, has been translated into 25 languages, shared millions of times, and is the #1 global trending on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. The world is surprised not because of what he refuses, but because of the way he refuses. Without anger, without innuendo, without building a heroic image, just simple honesty. And ironically, it was precisely from that decision that Jungkook's value increased. After the post, the shares of some fashion brands actually fell slightly, as investors began to see the most valuable influencers are those who cannot be bought. The business world learned a costly lesson that day. Jungkook doesn't reject money, he rejects losing meaning. The decision shows the level of maturity of an artist who is no longer playing in the popular zone, but in the influential zone. Fans from all over the world consider this not just a denial, but a statement that Jungkook's career will never be controlled by numbers. He prefers to build a legacy that lasts, rather than become a star that shines quickly but dimly in a matter of years. And after all the hype, the world came to its senses. The offer may have been the most expensive in his entire career, but the response? No one guessed. As it turns out, Jungkook's true wealth is not in accounts, but in principles. Many people think Jungkook's decision to turn down an offer worth hundreds of millions of dollars is just an image strategy, a kind of elegant move to strengthen his reputation as an artist of integrity. But if we drill deeper, there is something much more human and emotional behind that choice. Jungkook is not someone who suddenly makes big decisions without good reason. He is the type who reflects on his every move, and that's what makes this story so interesting. In previous interviews, he has said that his life before BTS was known to be full of doubts. He came to Seoul as an innocent teenager from Busan, carrying big dreams but not knowing where to start. He grew up under the spotlight of the camera, in the middle of a world that demands perfection every second. And after years of being a global symbol, he learned one important thing, that freedom is the most expensive thing a person can have. When the offer came, Jungkook was already in a phase of life where he was no longer looking for recognition, he was looking for balance. He wanted to make sure that every partnership meant more than just exposure and money. Because for Jungkook, career is not a race about who is the richest, but who is the most honest to himself. In Hybe's never-before widely publicized internal documentary interview, one of his old managers recounted, when Jungkook first heard the contract numbers, he was silent for a long time. Then he just said one sentence, "I want to make sure I can still sing freely without feeling like a tool." That sentence left everyone in the room speechless. There is something sincere and decisive there, because for many artists, receiving such an offer is a dream. But for Jungkook, being able to resist with his head held high is the pinnacle of independence. He does not refuse because he is arrogant, but because he knows that every step he takes now is not only about him, but also about the millions of people who put their trust in him. And when the decision was finally announced to the public, many fans shed tears not out of sadness, but out of pride. They know Jungkook remains true to his values. In an era where popularity is often exchanged for principles, Jungkook shows that there is still room for sincerity. 5. The fashion world reacted, but Jungkook was even less caught up. When the news of the refusal spread, the fashion world did not stand still. Industry media outlets such as Vogue Business, The Business of Fashion, and WWD wrote lengthy reports about the Jungkook phenomenon. They called it not just another K-pop star, but a case study of the power of authenticity in the age of visual capitalism. Interestingly, instead of losing another offer after rejecting that big contract, more and more brands are looking to get closer, but in a different way. They no longer come with big numbers, but ideas. How about we create a project that highlights the art of photography and freedom of expression? What if Jungkook is not a model, but a creative partner? So sounded several incoming new proposals. The fashion world is starting to realize Jungkook is not a pawn that can be moved at will on an industrial chessboard. He is a player who can create new directions. Calvin Klein also responded elegantly. Instead of being afraid of losing momentum, they extended the collaboration with a freer concept. Not just a fashion campaign, but an exploration of identity and body expression. During one of the exclusive photo shoots in Tokyo, the brand's creative director even mentioned, "Jungkook doesn't just wear our clothes. He makes us look at fashion in a new way." And sure enough, after his rejection of the big offer, engagement on every Calvin Klein campaign featuring Jungkook doubled. The fashion world is finally learning that the value of an icon is not only in the contract, but in the trust that he built. While many brands judge artists by clicks and sales, Jungkook proved that true influence comes from respect and authenticity. He became proof that reject can sometimes be stronger than accept. And for the fashion world, that's the most valuable lesson of the last decade. 6. Fans, media, and industry alike were touched. It is rare that a single artist's decision can shake up so many sectors at once. But Jungkook managed to do it. Fans around the world took the moment as a symbol of resistance to the pressures of entertainment capitalism. Hashtags such as #proud of Jungkook and #you can't buy integrity became trending in 80 countries in less than an hour. Many international media wrote reflective articles about the meaning of self-worth in the digital age. Even some public figures, ranging from Hollywood actors, global designers, to renowned economists, gave their opinions. A professor of branding at Harvard Business School called Jungkook's decision an important turning point in the relationship between artists and corporations. He wrote, "When a star as big as Jungkook dares to refuse such an offer, it shifts the paradigm. He made the corporate world aware that money is not the only language that the modern generation understands." And it's true. In the weeks that followed, there was a huge spike in searches for the keywords ethical brand ambassador and artist with principles. Jungkook indirectly triggered a cultural change in the world of promotion and advertising. Fans also began writing reflective messages on online forums about how Jungkook's decision made them rethink the value of life. Many wrote that Jungkook's actions helped them dare to resist things that were not in line with conscience. Emotionally, this is not just another story of the artist refusing a contract. This is a story about a human being who chose principle above all else and inspired millions of people to do the same in their own lives. And perhaps therein lies Jungkook's true strength. He influenced not only trends, but also the way of thinking of the world. 7. Closing when a no from Jungkook becomes a yes to the world. Finally, from all the frenzy that ensued, one thing became clear. Jungkook's decision was not about rejecting money, but about choosing value. He knew that in a fast-paced world, every step he took could be an example for the younger generation. He realized that he was no longer just an idol, but a symbol of freedom, consciousness, and integrity. Perhaps many are still wondering, will Jungkook receive a new, even bigger offer? Maybe yes, maybe no. But one thing is for sure. Whatever the choice will be, the world will always pay attention. Not because it wants to know how much it is worth, but because it wants to know what the meaning behind it is. Because from this story we learn that sometimes the boldest decision is not to accept the greatest thing, but to reject the thing that is not in line with the heart. And Jungkook has proven that. They don't need numbers to prove their worth. He just needs honesty. And that's what makes his name irreplaceable. The world may have many superstars, but only a few are able to make the world stop, not because of hype, but because of integrity. Jungkook is one of them.